like, look, we're making the new counterculture whether they want it or not. So who's going to run the non-woke answer to Newsarama or the non-autistic IGN?
Our new co-host that will be taking Richard's spot on the show is Mr. Emily Music! My next co-host, the man who will absolutely make you change. And by making you change, what I mean by that is he is going to help you change from having that story in your head to putting it on paper and putting it into people's hands. And this is the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel P. Riley of whimsyland.org.
Alcohol. A good Christian boy.
Number one Iron Age booty daddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Royce. Welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. I am buying a goat. I love goat. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. What's going on, everybody? Oh, good Lord. I still don't have my lighting fixed this week. I look dead. So found out the camera app that runs the camera. Yeah, it didn't update. That update makes me look pale and dead. So whatever. Fuck it.
Royce, I think you look great.
I really wish that you would not have said that. I
think you look really nice.
That's not something that I don't want to open certain doors this early in the stream, and Justin's just like, fuck it, let's kick them in. It's not.
Hello, Sailor.
Yeah, no, you motherfucker. No.
Starts to show off with
least
a bang, bitches.
5 or 6 minutes before the shows I'm on get really gay. That's
Not
a
around
really
here.
early start.
This show became
No, you haven't been
gay.
here before. Yeah, this show likes to start real early.
This show became gay. What?
Some
2,
might
3
say
hours
we are
ago?
Premature. It's
We were backstage, 2 or 3 hours.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good God. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Iron Age Nights. This is a show where we bring you a new indie creator every single week. And this is an indie creator that has not been on the show. So I'm very excited to introduce him to you. Before we get to that, though, we have to say hello to the chat.
Hello,
and down in the
chat.
chat, we've got Horizon Talker. What's going on? Tim Allen's good to see you. Christopher D. Brand, what up? Maji Chan, hello. Flip City Magazine, hey! Christy's joining us this week. She almost never joins it. Wow, she must be really bored. She's never here. I've seen her here.
Frost Comics.
I was gonna say I've seen her here when she is here, but when she's not here, like on the show, like she's not here. So Leo, what's going on? Garham, what up? It's good to see you. Just call me insane. What's going on? And over on Rumble, we got Garham as well. So yeah, go join over on Rumble if you guys choose to watch over there. And I keep people are like, Royce, you don't shill enough. You've got to shill. So I guess I should actually. I kind of forget because like my whole job is to shill for other people. So for those of you who are unaware, I have a thing. It's called a Discord. It's where my community gathers. They work with each other. They're fantastic. They're meme lords. And guess what? They also get things done. You can bounce ideas off of them. You can share your ideas. You can talk about your books that you're working on. Go, click that link, join the Discord. Everybody has a good time over there. The other thing that I'm supposedly supposed to talk about is the merch. I have a merchandise over on teespring.com. It's absolutely fantastic. I need to get a new shirt out. That's hopefully I can find the time to actually put that together this weekend. Go check that out. And for those of you who do enjoy sending in super chats and stuff like that, those will absolutely get read. you can either send them in through PayPal, or it's easier if you guys go over to Rumble and just send them in over there because it highlights them in the chat that I have pulled up. And with all of that being said, God, that feels gross and dirty. Hi, Daniel. Why don't you be gross and dirty now and tell us about you? It's so much better when you... It's better that way.
Right. Anyways.
See how I hot potatoed that shit in your lap?
Yeah, it's all right. It
What's
has
going on,
been,
man? Where you been?
it has been an exhausting week, as any of you that follow me on the Twix know. Aside from way too much cardio, the new Whimsyland website's coming along nice, but it's probably not going to launch until after the turn of the year. So, you know, the business continues, but hampered by no website, sadly. On the other hand, the Saints Go Marching children's book that me and a couple of other creators put together is available both on ebook and physical on the Amazons.
Do you have that link?
No, of course not. Why would I do work for you?
I hate everything. Did you post about it?
This is why you can't hot potato shit at me, because I just don't do anything. I'm just gonna hold it.
He's just like, yeah, I got shit. Yeah, is there a link? Can I find? No. Why would I give you a link to shit that I'm trying to sell? You
go find it yourself. It's fine.
You gotta want it, man. You gotta really want it. You know? Yeah.
I just.
He's not just gonna hand it to you.
Yeah.
No great treasure comes without an adventure.
Right.
This isn't a fucking game, man. This is.
This isn't a game.
Daniel's like, yeah, man.
If you had a physical store, you'd just hand out a map. You know, like, where is the store? You have to find it first.
Yeah. You give me $20, I hand you a treasure map and say good luck.
Right.
That sounds fun.
Yeah. You're teaching them something.
Of course.
Treasure map.
Dude, put the fucking link in the private chat, you bastard. I'm trying to find it so I can share it to people. You mother.
Oh, just this one.
Lou, I promise I can show. I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, well, thank God.
I'm good at it too. I just like
because once we get to you, Frost, you got to show for like an hour and a half. So
that's
I know.
Chill hard, fucking hard. Anyway,
gay.
I mean, not necessarily. It depends. Never mind. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Oh my God. Are you still looking for your own links?
No, I'm just.
What is it? I'll find it before he can pull it up. Probably.
Yeah. It's right there.
I'll do an assist.
He's got it now.
Literally right there.
Oh, okay.
Freaking. How did it take?
It's not difficult. You just
All right,
type in my
Daniel's
name.
link. Go fucking buy his book. Like,
buy all of my books if you want.
Buy a book.
I have quite a few of them.
yeah, well, yeah, you wouldn't know that until just now, because he never freaking says anything on the show. He's like, yeah, you know, I coach people about writing. Wait, why can you coach people about writing? It's like, well, I've been writing for a long time. Really? Yeah. I didn't know.
Look, he's been writing for a long time. He hasn't been speaking on streams for a long time. There's a clear distinction.
Well, we're on 2 years now with this bullshit.
Yeah, 2 years of him sitting there being absolutely quiet.
Don't try to
drinking
apply logic
himself.
to this show.
He sits here and he drinks whiskey every week, and there are sometimes I'm like, wait a second, did Daniel say... Dude, I have gone back and watched streams, and Daniel has just sat there and drank the whole... Not a fucking word. He says hello, he says goodbye. Nothing in the middle.
That's not true. At least once a show, I call you some sort of name.
Yeah, well...
You need to do a time lapse and just fast forward a whole show of him just sipping, you know, like in fast motion.
Just Daniel. Just
esoteric fact, and he's like, and then it goes back to
Kahuna. Kahuna did I think it was a YouTube short of that one show where I got absolutely hammered, and it was just repeated,
there's been
a compilation.
Few of those, so
but it was just a compilation of me taking drinks throughout one entire show.
Oh yeah, that was great.
So good.
I like that one.
I will never
Maybe
forget.
first.
We got done because Eric July came over, hung out. He was sick as a dog, so he had to bounce a little early. So that was a fun show. We get off of the show, and Daniel's like, "I'm like Daniel, gone." And
Most
I'm like,
of the
"What?"
time,
He's like,
I'm
"I
like,
was nervous, so I
fuzzy.
just drank the whole time." Dude, he drank like 6 glasses of whiskey.
Yeah, I do that on occasion.
I was like, oh my, dude, the after
Oh,
show is
man.
sometimes better. Like, we thought about turning the after show into like putting it on like locals or something.
Bonus
only so
content.
that-
Right, yeah.
Dude,
Paywall
but
it,
the
yeah.
shit that we say in the after show, I'm just like,
You do one show.
Dude, what?
You do one show.
That's it.
Deplatformed. One show.
One. Well,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's like, cause we share our thoughts and stuff, and sometimes, like, and here's the thing, it's
IAK uncensored.
not. Oh, dude. Well, like, cause we share our thoughts on stuff with like everybody that we talk to. But like when you're talking as the bros, you can say something, be like, yeah, no, this person, love them to death. They have this quirk that's kind of annoying. And when you're talking with like the bros, you know, it's like, oh, it's fine. When that shit goes out on the internet, though, they're like, why the fuck do you hate me? Like, we didn't say that we hate you. We said that we love you to death, but you have a quirk that's annoying. That's not.
But the
we
thing
hate
that you're
you.
doing right now is really annoying. Yeah.
Like, so, yeah, we talked about it for a while.
Look, you're an
but, like,
awesome person, but you need a helmet.
they're like, it just, I mean, well, fuck, that's all of us on stream. But, you know, and then just like
The logo on it.
like half kind of bad interactions we've had with people that we're like really good with. We're
Just
just
a
like,
yellow
why the,
yield sticker.
yeah, we're like, why the fuck did they do that? Like,
yellow
they didn't
ghost.
have to be like that. Why? And it's like one interaction, but it's like if you put that on the interaction on the internet, and you talk about like one like haphazard interaction that you have with somebody that like you're really fucking cool with, like that. And we're just like, oh, so we can't, because again, we do it. That's kind of what the after show is for. We all sit there and we bullshit. We were like, we talked about turning that into a thing, and we're just like, but we can't turn that into a thing though.
No.
It would
That
probably
All professional contacts completely burned.
it'd be
Oh,
great.
Everything. Yeah.
Well,
It's done.
I am Royce. Welcome to Garage Talk.
Oh, dude. Everybody. Well, yeah, and I'm out in my garage like smoking and drinking the whole time. It's like but and that's the problem is like that stream cannot exist because it is just because like you mentioned before the show, you know, you've heard my thoughts on some books that I haven't shared those thoughts publicly, and you've heard some thoughts from some people that you know we're mutual friends with, and it's like, how do you get that conversation that we just had and turn it into like a members only, and it not get leaked and just turn into an absolute shit show?
Exactly.
And it's like, it's one of those. It's like, damn it, like because it would be fun because
It would be.
but at this but it's already fun, and it's like, yeah, we could turn it into like this members only thing, and everybody could get to hear like our thoughts on just all these the experiences we have with talking with people and scheduling people and things that have fallen through, or just weird interactions that we've had that were kind of weird, or books that we didn't like. But it's like, but at the end of the day, people will take that and they will turn your perfectly harmless conversation into an attack on somebody, and then potentially burn bridges down. When, because, and it's totally different because I know that I could say something to somebody in person and it be taken totally differently than somebody clipping me out of context. And it's just like we couldn't do it. And that's like, we thought about it for a while.
I'd do it.
Yeah, fucking, yeah, go for it, bro. But that's the problem. It's like, sometimes you just maybe somebody just said something dumb to you one day and you're like, what the why are you saying this thing? And you just want to vent some steam. But if you put it on the internet, it's, you know, and it just, the internet is used
forever.
to burn bridges at this point. It's just like, no. It's
Yes.
nothing. Hi, Justin. How are you this week?
Hey, I'm doing pretty
Rant
good.
complete.
It's Christmas season, boys. It's an exciting time. It's always an exciting
Yes.
time. And this morning on the way to work, I got in the car, fired it up. You know, let the seats warm up a little bit, let it defrost and all that. And guess what? We had some flurries. And not only did we have some flurries,
Defrost. Hang on a minute.
just in time for Frost Comics. Look at that. Look at that.
That's a
Yeah,
great
perfect.
segue.
Right.
That was like, wait, did you work on that? Were you thinking about that? Jay?
I have a 3-paragraph script right here that I'm reading right now. Including this line because I was prepared for you to ask questions and I have my answers written out. It's like a choose your adventure. If Royce says X and then I got to click and then I got it there and then
It's like a choose your own adventure Boy Scout style.
Right.
You got it. So,
Frost Comics is frosting up the U.S.
that's exciting stuff. In addition, oh sorry, go ahead.
I was going to make that same joke on Twitter, and I was like, no, that's too dumb to make. Like, did you scrape the frost off your windshield this morning? Well, too bad you didn't get rid of it because he's gonna be here tonight. And I was like, nah, that's really dumb. I'm just gonna call people gay and tell them if they're late to the show, they're gay. Like, I went with the gay joke and not the weather joke, you know.
Dad joke, tried and true.
Well, there's you gotta have the
Always
bag
go with the puns.
always. Yeah, no, puns and dad jokes. I hate them. Hi, Frost Comics. How are you?
Hi.
I'm gonna refer to you.
I'm
as Frost.
great. I'm actually really excited to be here because I'm a
Oh,
big fan of your channel.
I appreciate
Because
it.
like
Well, thank you.
I feel like and I've said this to you privately, so this isn't really a surprise, but I feel like channels like this are important and they need to exist because everyone is like constantly shilling their own stuff. So having somebody who's like outside of that and can say, I like this thing is nice. And it's also really nice because somebody that's a fan of indie stuff, we need more fans of indie stuff. Animane, who's been on the show. Animane, I will.
It is dangerous to have him on my show because he'll
love
push
that
it a little
man.
bit, and then I'll push it a little bit, and eventually we get to the point where I'm like, if I say this joke, the channel gets nuked off of YouTube. Auto moderation kicks in. It's over. He's such a good guy. Animane's a great guy.
He's great. I will 100% call him my best friend that I've made in indie comics. And he runs 2 channels. He's got Animane, his main channel, but he also has a fan channel that's dedicated to Storm and Starfire. Yeah. And that channel he's had a lot of growth with because it's just positive fan content. So that is awesome. And so like things like your channel that are highlighting stuff that they enjoy, I think that's great. So I am genuinely super excited to be here because of that reason. And just I've had great interactions with everybody. Justin, Daniel recently started talking to you. You wrote an incredibly generous, very kind review of my comic, which I appreciate so much. So it's really great to be here and be, I don't know, in this community, whatever this is. It's great. I've had a blast the last couple of years getting to know everybody and networking. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here with the chat.
Oh yeah.
Dude, and it's weird that
Royce missed an opportunity to call the chat DJs.
Sorry. Well, I'm trying to clear stuff off of my. I'm getting messages and stuff on Facebook and stuff, and I'm trying to clear all that. And I'm doing many things right now. No, but what's so weird is how the community built and formed, and it's something that I completely didn't expect.
Mm-hmm.
And that is something that I hope can continue because I feel like we have a lot of creators in the community.
Yeah.
We have some fans of independent projects and going to look for those, but we don't have many. And so it's one of those things that like being a part of the community and I tell people, I've had people ask me the question, will I do a comic? Will I write a book? I've even talked with Daniel. I've thrown ideas at him, ideas that I've had, and I've intentionally made the decision to not do it because there is something about being a channel and about that. It's like, look, I'm not looking to write something and promote myself. I'm looking for the next great thing that I really enjoy. And it just seems like there's not a lot of that out there. And it seems like it's kind of growing, and it's kind of dwindling all at the same time, which is weird to say.
No, I know what you mean. And actually, another reason why I wanted to be on the channel was to talk to you like as a YouTuber. You're obviously larger than my channel. We're both pretty small in the grand scheme of YouTube, but
yeah, hella small.
One of the things that I've been trying to do that you have, I think, been able to do at least somewhat successfully, is that fan appreciation and drawing attention to the next thing. And I've been trying to figure out how to do that, and I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Because my whole thing is, I said before the show started that, if you want to make a review and you want to make it entertaining, you have to have jokes. But if you have jokes, some people can get offended by the jokes because they'll think that you're making a joke at the expense of the content. When you're not, you're just trying to make people laugh so they'll watch the review and learn about the product, right? And so I've tried different things. Like I've tried reviews that were like long form, 20 minutes or so, really highly edited. I've tried shorts. I've tried all different stuff, and I haven't had consistent success. So like I want to figure out like what is the key to getting stuff out there for people to see.
But believe it or not, the thing that I have noticed, not just from my channel, but I look at people who are much bigger than I am and much more successful than I am, and even more successful than people who are in our space. And the thing is that I've noticed is positivity, motivation, or positive content, motivational content, and educational content. Those are the big three. So if you can come in, and like one of the videos that I got just a crazy amount of subscribers on, it was like when Dragon Age the Veilguard was coming out, and it was like, and I kind of started this video off with like, what the hell? Why can't these writers do what the old writers used to do? And I ended it with stupid. But the video morphed, and I turned it in from that into like, they don't have any motivation. They don't have any want to be bigger or better. You should not be like that. You should want to be bigger. You should want to be better. You should want, like that video. It was just like, it like the first 2 minutes was like, hey, these guys kind of suck at writing. But the last like 8 minutes of the video was like, but you don't have to be like that. You can choose to be better. You can choose to be more. You can dude, I got like 50 subscribers off of that video, which is just wild for the channel. And it's something like, that was just one of those. And what's kind of sucks about that is that was just one of those like raw moments. It's like, there's this thing in my head that I'm seeing, and I don't want people to give into it. And it's like Dragon Age the Veilguard just so happened to be like the springboard, or specifically the writers of it. And this was way before the game came out. This was like a month before the game, but it was like the springboard that I needed to talk about that thing. But like positivity, and motivation, and then education. Those are the three things that do so unbelievably well on YouTube. It is freaking insane. Like if you can get those three things in a video, because it makes people feel good, because we live in a world today where people think that everything is dire. People think that it's the last election that we're ever going to see. People think it's the worst of gaming. It's the worst of movies we've never seen. And if you give people that light in their day, it is so crazy. And it's like, I saw that video that I did where I was just raw about it. I was just like, here's this thing. Don't give up. You don't give up. You don't give in to this. You be better. But it's like, I can't manufacture that. I thought about it. I'm like, I probably could, but I thought about the devaluation over time. And it's, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I need to learn how to harness that side of myself better to produce videos like this, to where it's not just disingenuous all the time, to where I can be more motivational all the time. But like, those are the three things that I have noticed. I mean, I'm talking about gun tuber channels. I'm talking about food channels that I watch. I'm talking about like conspiracy theory channels that I watch. Like, just a positivity, motivation, and knowledge, and and education. Those three things do so well on YouTube, and it is, if you're trying to chase that audience and you're trying to be like, how do I build this thing, and it's something that I'm trying to figure out how to do, and I fail epically on that most of the time, but it is just this trend that I've seen, and I'm like, and everybody's like, oh, you've got to do the hate and rage content and rage bait, and it's like, that can get you to a point, that can grow you to a point, but eventually people become tired of being filled with disdain and hate and rage over something, but nobody ever gets fatigued from being happy or from learning something new. And
I can't do that stuff, like because of the people who get tired from the disdain. I can't, like, as I've thought about, like, okay, well, this person has a huge channel because like they take a dump on something. I can't do it, man. Like, I can't make myself watch something that I hate over and over and over again just for the sake. I cannot do it. Like, I value my life, my life clock too much to make myself watch something I hate for hours.
And dude, and that's something that, like, I can't do. And so, like, when it comes to I've been talking about it for years with my buddies, and I've just shifted the channel to talking a lot about like gaming, but like, I like talking about a lot of the gaming industry. Not necessarily the games themselves, but the gaming industry, why the writers are doing what they're doing, where the money is being spent, how it's being spent, the competition in the industry, how it's changed, how it's all evolved, all of that stuff, right? And admittedly, probably a boring topic to a lot of people, but not as many people. If I could figure out how to make a good thumbnail and a good fucking title, like, because I know once I get people in, they stay, but it's getting in there. But if I could just figure out how to, not suck at titles and thumbnails, I'd probably do pretty well in that regard. But it's a way to talk about the folly of the industry without just going out there and be like, these woke, right, they suck and they're trying to destroy society. And where it's just like, hey, so like, here's how the industry has changed. Here's what's going on. And here's how it all, kind of ties together from industry leaders that are paying attention to the stuff. And it's just one of, but like, I cannot, I cannot just sit there and rage bait on stuff. No. I watched a lot of channels like that for years, and I've gotten to a point where a lot of them I don't watch anymore. I
said last week, and John Douglas just said in the chat, JDA's model of, trashing the things to a point and then illustrating what would be better if it was done without being, hit on the head with a hammer retarded.
I haven't watched JDA in a while. I really haven't, so I don't know if he's shifted his content away from just talking about the normal what's wokey woke about,
No, it all starts that way because that's what brings people to the show. But then he transitions into, what would be better about this particular thing and maybe something relevant. I know he does lately. He's been getting a lot of traction from making comparisons to, like, the space pew pew stuff like Star Trek and whatnot with his new series that he's been doing. And he that's how he converts to sales organically, by talking about what everybody's pissed about and then offering a natural alternative.
Well, like, so one thing that I'm looking at is, and I'm really trying to shift it and figure out, but like one thing that really inspired me today. So, Path of Exile 2 dropped, and not never played the original one. Well, I can't say no. Like I played the original like a day or two ago, just for a few hours. But what's so weird is that this game that I've heard tangentially about, the enthusiasm has just been building and building and building and building. And today they're going into like their like kind of like their paid beta, you know. And what's so interesting about that is they hit 1 million sales, which they never thought was going to be a thing. People, their website has gotten crashed, like their servers got crashed. Like they like it was so and guess what? Everybody was so positive. It was the positivity, and even from other studios, the guys who created Last Epoch were congratulating, even with the server crashes and all that, were congratulating GGG, Grinding Gear Games, the studio doing Path of Exile 2, on their success. And it's just like this overwhelming positivity, and it's just like, and then I'm seeing content creators talk about it, and all of it is just this overwhelming positivity. And it's like, when people sit there, and then I go and I look at subscriber counts and like what they're talking about and how they're talking about it, I'm like, oh, positivity reigns supreme. It's like talking about, but you will see people say that the way to get views online is rage bait, and it's not. It really isn't. It's like it really seems like you offer positivity about something and just give people that light in the day, or you offer a really decent critical analysis that still ends up, you can do the ones where you trash on something once in a while and people have fun with it. Or you can, but for the most part, the internet responds to positivity more than anything else. And it's I got trapped in a loop, and I'm trying to shake the habit now, because I watched so many people for so many years where all they did was point out the bad. They trashed on stuff. They did, and it's like, but there is a lot of good out there. There is some good out there. You have to look for it a little harder, but like that's what the people need to do, and that's why I kind of like doing what we're doing here. It's like, because we are finding the good. Now they're small guys, they're indie guys, but we are finding that, and that is positive, and that is something that we should shed a light on. We're not just here to be some counterculture fucking movement to the woke. We're here because we enjoy what we do. We love the craft. I mean, me personally, I like getting better every single Friday, becoming a better interviewer, you know, and sharing other creations with people and everybody. And I think that that's one thing, is it's like, you shouldn't be like, hey, are you tired of Marvel or DC or Disney? And are you tired of all this woke stuff? It should be like, guys, I got this story that's going to knock your socks off. And it's so freaking cool. I would really love it if you would check it out, because some of the biggest things out there right now are things that are just unbelievably positive. And I think a lot more people need to tap into that, because I think a lot of people have given into the despair and the sadness and the anger and the fight and the culture war, and we've got to put the heads of our enemies on pikes out in our neighbor's front yard to prove a point. And I mean, that's a really dark scene, but like, no, like, you know what I mean?
So let me ask you guys this, because this kind of relates to you, Royce, as a YouTuber. This kind of relates to you, Daniel, as a critic. This is something I've personally been struggling with since I guess published my comic last month.
Publish. No, you
It's
published.
out
You
there,
didn't
you know. Yeah,
publish, you published.
it published it.
Direct.
Yes,
Yes, the
there.
thing exists. It is
it's
no
there.
longer
There.
theoretical.
I made it real.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a
I've
victory.
I have a history. I have a history in reviewing. I used to review video games, and so I was able to transition from reviewing video games to reviewing comics pretty easily. And one thing I've struggled with since coming out with my comic is I've gotten really great reviews, and like positive and negative, and some of the criticism has been really, really good criticism. And I look at that and I think, yeah, I should have noticed that, or oh, that's really helpful for next time. It gets me thinking, and I look back at my reviews and I think, okay, I published one comic. Who the F am I to go out and say this guy's comic is a 3.5? You know what I mean? Like, I've struggled with that recently because I'm thinking, okay, where am I coming from?
I have a really, really great answer for that.
Excellent.
Okay. And I'll use, it's just an analogy that I've heard kind of around the internet. It's like, that's like asking the question, who the fuck am I to say this Twinkie doesn't taste right? I know what the fuck a Twinkie should taste like.
Yeah.
So, but you didn't make the Twinkie. I don't give a fuck. I know what it should taste like. And when it tastes like rancid, that's not what it's like. I may not know how to make the thing, but I, as the customer, know what that thing should be. Right? So that, and that, it's like, well, driving down the road in a brand new car, all of a sudden the hood dents up and the engine explodes. And I'm like, well, you really shouldn't complain about that car. It's the fucking engine exploded. Well, have you ever built a car? No, but I know how a car should function, right? It's like, no, I may not have ever built the thing, but I know what the expectation of having that thing should be.
Yeah.
And I think so many people get wrapped up in that. It's like, dude, your house fell down because the wind was slightly too strong. It's like, well, houses shouldn't fall down from wind. Well, have you ever built a house? But like, and I think so many people get wrapped up in, especially in the artistic world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, but so I wrote this thing, and it's obviously not as good as the greats, right? And it's like, but I know what the greats should do and how and what they did. And so, like, if you give me that criticism and you're honest about it, I can get there, right? It's like the first house that I ever build, if I build one. Is it going to be the greatest thing on the planet? Probably not. Do I learn from that? Yes. Do I start with building a house? No, I probably start with building, like, a fucking dog house or something, right? You start small, work your way up to the big.
Right.
But it infuriates me when people are like, well, you didn't do this thing. You don't know how it's made. Yeah, but I know what to expect as a customer.
Yeah.
And never discount that on yourself.
Yeah.
I never have. It's only something that I started feeling. I don't want to know. I guess you could call it like the slightest hint of imposter syndrome or something. But like ever since I made my own, that's when it started to crop up in the back of my head where I was like, well, but should you? Yeah, that's where it's recently. But before that, I with no hesitation, I'd be able to say, oh, well, you know, this, I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like that. I would change this because then, you know, I'm buying it. I guess I feel entitled by my purchase. Right. But now as someone who's out there doing it on my own, that's where it came from recently. But I think you're right. That's a very good answer.
I'm going to let Justin answer before I weigh in.
Hi, wife.
I was just say, yeah, I mean, obviously making it yourself changes your perspective and your understanding because you see how the sausage is made. Or sorry, you actually step into the Twinkie factory and you're making your own version of a Twinkie. So you understand, hang on a second, you know, maybe there's something here to it and maybe you feel like you don't have a place where you can comment on it. But at the same time, if you're eating other Twinkies out there, to stay with the Twinkie analogy, because
this is just getting worse.
So you're eating a whole bunch of different guys. You're eating their Twinkies, right? There's a lot of different Twinkies out there, and you're just taking bites of different ones. You're doing commentary on them. Maybe
just
you feel
loving those guys' Twinkies.
loving them Twinkies, just biting on them things. And
Got
so
way
you're
worse. I regret all of my decisions at this point.
You're not doing
I'm so sorry.
like you're
I-
not in a place to review those Twinkies, but it turns out that it's your opinion, and if you have enough Twinkies, all of a sudden you have a perspective that maybe others don't have, where you can provide insight. That just because you're not making a Twinkie that is as good as somebody says you're not making this Twinkie that's that good, you've still had all these other Twinkies, and you can still provide valuable insight. And if people are watching your content and say, I also had a couple of those Twinkies, and this guy's saying things I like, now all of a sudden you're connecting with those people, and then they can take your word for it. And then, that's most reviewers I watch. If I agree with them 70% of the way, I'm like, okay, cool. I'm riding with this guy. Let's see where it goes.
Justin just reminded me, and I don't, because it's a food analogy. I should have used this analogy, which actually happened. It's a real thing. I should have used the analogy of the brisket that I cooked for the barbecue that I had for the community this last summer. In that it was like, I still haven't mastered the brisket cook, and I know that I haven't, because that is a hard cook. But it did it to the best of my ability. Came out, and I was like, I need people to be critical with me about the thing. And everybody's like, dude, it's great. And one of the things that people said is like, dude, the bark on the outside of that brisket is fire. They're like, dude, really good. And they're like, the flavor of the brisket, not bad either. A lot of people are like, it's not the greatest I've ever had, but trust me, it's better than a lot of people in a backyard, And I was like, cool. I'm like, what else can I do? And they're like, I don't know, man. I don't know. One person was like, all right, so here's what I can tell you living in Texas. Every brisket that I have, it's like when they cut into it, you can just see just that juice just melt away from it. And they're like, honestly, they're like, yours was still juicy, but it didn't have that, And they're like, dude, but I would still eat what you gave me like all day. It was really good. But I'm like, okay, but I can work with that. I got some criticism. I was able to, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, I think I know how to adapt from that. I can't get briskets all the time because they're fucking expensive.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, because that's what I like to do. I like to cook food for people. I would very much, one of these days, I'm going to go to a freaking convention, and I'm not going to go inside. That's my goal. I'm going to build a new smoker. I'm going to park a smoker outside. And I'm gonna hit up people that I know that are going to the convention and be like, I need you guys to help me out. And I'm just gonna have meat, and I'm gonna be smoking meat and cooking food in the parking lot.
That's a cool idea.
And like, we're gonna tailgate a comic convention, right? And just have people we'll get some like people to come up and like say hello and shit. Like that would be my goal,
Nice.
right?
I like it. Yeah.
Maybe do like a hot ones challenge, but I'll do like ribs instead of chicken. Just like every rib that they do, but the questions will get asked from like the audience. I don't know. It'd be something dumb like that. Probably shouldn't have said that on there. Actually, that's a really good idea. That's a really good idea.
It really is. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'll smoke the meat, cook the food, everything. And then we'll just do a hot one challenge where you got to dip ribs.
Yeah.
And that's,
Yeah.
I mean,
do like a launch for somebody, and
Right.
like every backer is another hot ones. Like they go, yeah. See how
right.
far they can
Well, it'd be live. So
right. Yeah. Well, I mean, do something like that with
Yeah.
somebody. No,
It'd
what
be
they want to
funny.
do a launch on your channel.
But yeah, it's one of those things that like the idea that you haven't done this thing before, therefore you don't get to, it's like, that's not how customers work, fucker. Like, I'm your customer. I don't know if you know this or not. I don't have to give you my money. And if I give you my money and you deliver something that I go, whoa, wait a minute, that wasn't worth what I gave you, I get to determine that.
Mm-hmm.
You as the creator don't. And the reason that you don't is because it wasn't your fucking money. Like, and I've seen so much of that. It's really irritating. But I've seen it across a lot of mediums. I've seen it in
True,
video games, movies, comics, books.
Especially
like,
games lately.
the biggest mistake that a lot of sales-based entertainment these days is making is establishing a negative relationship with their audience.
Yeah.
And the only way to establish any relationship with an audience is to receive feedback. So if you have purchased or accepted any media from anyone, you may not feel obliged to review it in any long form manner, but you are obliged in some way to graciously say, hey, I like this and this is why, or hey, I didn't like this, so I probably am not going to buy another one.
Yeah.
And I worked for a extremely wealthy person for a while as a personal assistant, just doing all of his filing work for him. And one of the most interesting things I found about him was every single person that he met, whether or not he was actively talking about business, he just asked questions about everything. So he coaxed reviews of anything around him out of people just by engaging in conversation. And when I asked him why, he said, it's the only way to know how to make my business better is to hear from the people around me what works for them and then incorporate it into what I do.
Yeah. And it's like never, well, okay. God, I really don't want to bring this up.
I can go on to the next thing.
It's kind of half-assed. It's somewhat political, but also not political. It's just something that, but it's like when Trump was talking about, doing the no tax on tips. And the version of that story that he told was he was in a restaurant. There was a waitress there, and he asked her about it. And she thought it was a great idea. It's like, oh, you mean the people that the thing that you're going to do could potentially affect, like, you ask them. Oh, you mean the people who are going to buy your book, the people who are going to watch your movie, the people who are going to play your game, the people who are, going to show up to your fucking slam poetry. I don't know what the fuck you do. That's a you thing. Slam poet, that motherfucker. I don't know what slam poetry is. But anyway, do that thing. You stop laughing. It's not
right.
I mean, slamming poets in a back alley. That's what anyway, but whatever. So, right. Daniel, what the fuck was that? Do you know what to do with your hands? Like,
That's what you do at poetry recitals, dickhead.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought you were reaching for a train or something. I thought you needed to find a train to put on a track or something. No?
Golden. Cream filled.
Why do I come here every week?
Fuck you. That's the best dig I've got on you in a while. You can
That's
deal
fair.
with it, motherfucker.
That's fair. For a moment, I had lobster hands. That's all.
I don't have a train. When I do that, I'm like, I need a train. I need to put it anyway.
The problem is you can't buy the train because then you'll have a train.
Right?
I like trains.
Really quick, I meant to get to this a while ago, and this is probably a good part. Buddy Rabbit for $20 on Rumble.
Hey.
I don't like that I'm about to read this. Is pee pee poo poo wiener butts.
Oh, sorry.
And he sent in a 20, so right? Fucking yeah. Oh, this is
like magic, man.
Oh, jeez, dude.
We're gonna start keeping a candle nearby.
Oh, Royce didn't watch the Goofy movie. Yes, I did. I absolutely watched the Goofy movie. And that wasn't the first Goofy movie. That was the second one where Max goes to college. Anyway, that's how I love that movie. That was great. Anyway, sorry, God, but fuck. But damn it. So, but Justin, fucking knock it off. But anyway, yeah, it's And what I see a lot from indie creators, especially people who are going back and forth, it's like, oh, they're like, my fans tell me exactly what they want. And then a potential customer who just so happens to be another indie creator is like, why did you do this, dude? That doesn't look good to me. And admit it. And when you put anything online, it instantly becomes a fight. And it's just like,
Yes.
and it's like, and they're like, well, these other creators. And it's like, whoa. But those other creators could be potential customers. I mean, don't get me wrong. You got to do some weed eating there. Figure out, you know,
Yeah.
the weeds, the stuff you got to get rid of and the stuff you want to keep. It's like, that's why I always tell people, like, when it comes to my channel, it's like, take what you like and leave what you don't.
There's a lot of
if something
eating references in this show tonight.
yeah. Dude, I'm freaking hungry. I am no longer. I am not eating.
I'm
or
so
snacking.
hungry. I'm gonna go eat grass.
Dude, I'm not eating or snacking at night anymore. Like not doing that. There for a while there, I was like get ready to go to bed, and I was like, I don't know why it came out of nowhere. I was like, I want a peanut butter and jelly. I can't tell you guys the last time like I had a peanut butter and jelly before this year. And then like for 2 months it was like, I need a peanut butter and jelly. And I don't know if there
So
was just
specific too.
dude, no, like could kill somebody for a peanut butter and jelly bad. Like, and I'm like, so which tells me that there is something in the peanut butter or the jelly. I don't, probably both, that I am not getting in my diet. And I'm like, I like,
That is what a food craving is.
Dude, it was like every day for like 2 months. And so now I'm just like, okay, nope, I need to not do, because I was eating like right before I'd go to bed and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, that's not good. That's a really quick path to a, you know. But yeah. So it's really interesting to just see. It's like, but
I want to talk about something that you touched on briefly.
Yes, go for it.
That's not peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
Thank God.
So you said that you're talking about how if one indie creator talks to another indie creator, as soon as they talk about it, it becomes like a thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I am new. I've been observing all of this craziness. I've been part of this for like I said, about 3 years now. And so I've noticed this. I noticed this very early on. So when I had friends who were disagreeing with other friends, I would message them privately, not publicly, because I didn't want it to be a thing. And so I would be like, hey, this guy, I know you guys are butting heads, but you guys actually have a lot of the same beliefs, or you both really like the same kind of stuff. You're just kind of disagreeing on this one thing. And I try to like just kind of be peacemaker, right?
Yep.
So I don't know where the point of the story is. There may not even be a point. I'm just telling it because it's weird and funny. One person in particular took such umbrage with this that he accused me of being a communist infiltrator that was undermining the right wing of independent comics so that I could undo the Iron Age and Comicsgate because I was a secret left wing infiltrator.
We're on
How
to you.
dare you?
I have also been accused of this by morons.
Really?
Accused? Yes. Yeah.
Oh, we all have.
Yeah. We've all been accused of it.
I haven't yet.
Yeah, you're a sweet summer child. That's
You're
okay.
not.
Gee whiz.
like,
Willikers either.
Are you waking up in the morning? I would say try harder, but like,
Yeah.
I don't
Skill
even have
issue.
to try. And they're just like,
get good.
dude, that's no. I've absolutely been accused of that.
I just remember I was like dumbfounded. I was like just staring. I was like looking at my phone like, what? I
Yeah.
read it to my wife. I'm like, what? I go to a friend that knows this person. I'm like, what?
Dude.
And I till this day I still don't know why. And I tried to. I was like trying to like talk to the guy, like really talk to him. Like, okay, so who do you think I'm getting my orders from? Why do you think I'm getting orders? To what end? No. That's already too deep.
Dude,
He's not gonna give in.
I recently, so a game
We
gets
all know
announced.
you work for the
So
Syrian mafia.
Right. No, he works for the Jews. That's what it. Anyway, she's like, dude, they pay really good. Shut up. Anyway, no, dude, I went back and forth with somebody briefly on so a game gets announced, a video game gets announced, and everybody goes out there and they're like, it's fucking woke, and it's like, okay, and nothing in it is even hinted at being woke. And to me, woke is Marxist, because I actually know where the origination of the term comes from. I know how it all evolved. I know all of the stuff that goes behind it. I'm not a fucking moron. I've actually studied history. And so this person is like, this game is, I'm like, okay, what have the game developers of this game said about their game that they're developing being woke? And the person links me their own article about and if you're astute in the chat, you already know what I'm talking about, but I'm not going to name drop anybody because I still love the guy to death.
I'm the expert.
I disagree with how he evaluates things. But they were like, oh, well, but the voice actress, she's a LGBTQ fucking activist, this, that, and the other thing. I'm like, you dodged the question. What have the game developers said? And I was told that they were being charitable to me and that I was coming at them disingenuously and trying to set up a trap question. And I was like, all I asked is, what did the game developers say about adding woke stuff to their game? That's all I asked. And then you didn't answer the question. You linked me a thing about something that's obvious fucking public information.
Don't ask questions.
That
What's wrong
doesn't
with you?
speak, like, the developers didn't say they were doing this for woke reasons.
Believe all the things, Royce.
Dude, like, it is getting, people are drawing lines in the sand that aren't even fucking there. Like, the sand's not even there.
Whoa.
And they're drawing
They
lines.
bring
in
the sand, pour it out.
Right, they fucking
draw a line.
Yeah, they fucking bring the sand.
And that stick. It's all in their
Motherfucker, this is my kitchen. What are you doing? You know, I have to draw a line in the sand somewhere. Not in my kitchen. What the fuck? But it just feels like that, dude. I'm just like, I can't. And I
It's
just
a weird looking hill to die on there, brother.
dude. And I'm like, here's the thing. Like, if it turns out to be a thing, I will agree with you, but I need some but it doesn't matter. Their minds are already made up, and you're disingenuous, you're wrong, you're a leftist plant, you don't believe in the fucking things that you say, this, that, and the other thing. And these are all from people that I've met who will fucking send their kids to public school. And I say that intentionally because we homeschool, because I have a massive problem with the fucking government, right? You want to talk about being like, right? Yeah.
Right.
But like, they send their kids to public schools. Some people have been fucking divorced, which I haven't been divorced. And it's just, but I can go down this list of things that and I'm like, wait, because I fucking asked you to prove whether this thing is woke or not, I'm a left-wing fucking plant, and I actually live a more right-wing life than you do? What the fuck are you even talking about? And it's just blood sport on the internet at this point. It's so stupid.
Yeah, like an ultra condensed retarded blood sport. Yeah, it's
Dude,
kind of like that.
I
Like
just
this guy, because it's like you said, that like you're accused of not believing the things that you say. And I'm a big fan of Star Trek, and I haven't liked the direction of Star Trek since 2009. And so I don't watch Star Trek because I don't like what they do with it, right?
Yeah.
So since 2009, I have had this attitude of, if you don't like something, don't buy it, don't watch it, don't contribute to it making money.
Sir, you are contributing to the left.
Yeah.
Right. And and he's like, which YouTuber told you to think that? Who'd you get that from? And I was like, bro, I have no idea. I've just been saying this since I even knew YouTube was a thing. What are you talking about? No. You got that from somebody who's telling you. Okay. I don't know. I cannot
It's so
talk to you.
funny. It's so funny. Most people that I followed for years who complained about like the woke stuff, paid the subscriptions, paid for games, paid for fucking books, and paid for the comics, and contributed 100% more monetary value to tell me that something was woke
Yes.
than I ever did.
Yeah. Yeah.
They contributed to the woke fund, and then no, it's just so I could tell you that was like, but you already knew it was. The director said it was. The writers said it was. But no, because like if I don't give them money, right, and then I don't have the thing in my hand, I can't tell you it's woke. I'm like, but the writer of the book said it was going to be that way. The director of the fucking thing said, and it's just, and I just got to a point. I was like, it's a fucking tax write-off.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like, just be honest. It'd be like if somebody came out and be like, hey guys, I'm just letting you know, I bought this woke ass book so I could write it off on taxes because you motherfuckers watch my fucking content and you guys give me money and I can write this shit off as taxes.
Right.
Like otherwise I wouldn't buy this. Like if they would just say that, you know, but here's the thing. Nobody wants to hear, oh, it's just a tax write-off. They want to hear it's for the fucking cause, motherfuckers.
Right.
Like,
right.
It's just
I'm taking a stand for you.
I'm taking a stand by spending $75 on this woke ass game to stream it in front of you for hours, exposing you to this woke ass game.
I hate it so much. I'm gonna play it 4 times.
I'm gonna buy extra copies
just to make sure it's.
I'm gonna buy the DLC. I hate it so much.
Like, do you know what that word means?
I think they have merch. I'm gonna get some of that too.
Oh fuck, dude! It's just. I'm sorry. I've seen it, but that's what it is.
Exactly. It's too far.
It's like, it's one thing to know what the fuck you're talking about, and it's another thing to have no fucking clue. And and it's why I got to a point where I was telling people that like the Iron Age or whatever this independent creator movement is that tends to be more right-leaning in their politics does not need to be an anti-woke movement, because being negative isn't a way to build people. We need to be positive about the things to be. We don't need to be anti-woke. We need to be positively meritocratic. We need to be positively influential.
Well, my hot take for a couple of years now has been that it's not the woke politics inherently that makes what they create bad. It's the activism ahead of everything else that makes it bad. You could take woke politics and you could make a great story that sings the praises of it and paints that as the ideological right of the story if you just wrote it well. But they don't write it well because they put the activism ahead of writing anything worth a shit.
And people have done it because people have taken, and again, if you know the history of it, how it's evolved and changed and been passed through, that's a long conversation to have. But if you know how it's changed, it is rooted in Marxism. People have written stories where the Marxists were the heroes before in Hollywood, and they were successful movies. And when you look back, you go, fuck, that movie's Marxist as fuck, but it's a well-written story. Right. But the idea was well-written characters that you care about interacting in this way, and then you realize, oh shit, like, and that's why they're so bad at their propaganda. Because it is front-facing, and it gets rid of the person's choice to do what they want to do. And I'm so tired of hearing people talk about something that they know nothing about. And I literally had somebody in my chat was it my
Stop
chat?
talking to humans.
Yeah. Well, I know, because then the only other thing left is talking to AI, and I really don't want to do that. But
So you're gonna have to get used to people talking about shit they don't know anything about, like they're experts.
Well, we're not allowed to beat people in public anymore.
True.
Can we just bring the stockades back? Can we just throw tomatoes at people for a day?
Hearing people say that.
Just
for a day, you're not hurt.
He's a moron. Just
Oh,
put him in the thing for a day. We get to throw tomatoes at. Be like, are you done being a moron? And then if he's not done, we just keep throwing tomatoes and cabbage at. Maybe a gourd. I feel like a gourd might be a little too much. That might hurt, but I don't know.
Depends on the
Pick a
ripeness.
vegetable. It's
Fun
fine.
fact about the act of throwing vegetables at people in stockades: the vegetables that were often thrown were too rotten to be consumed.
Yes,
Okay, there you go.
I'm aware. I
So
know this-
rotten gourd would be soft enough for you to lob at somebody in a stockade.
Oh yeah, but you could sneak a good one in there.
You gotta throw it in, like
That's a
granny
waste of a
style.
gourd, though.
Yeah, use it
Well,
appropriately.
depending on what gourd you actually use, because
Right.
there's many. I think pumpkins are part of the gourd family. Squash is part. Zucchini, I think, is in the gourd family too. Dude, if you've never had zucchini, if you guys, all right,
This tangent brought to you by hunger.
dude, I am fucking starving. I'm not eating at night anymore, and I'm like, I need to eat.
How do you guys
Dude,
feel about legumes?
Make yourself you go online, find the recipe to do it. There's a way, but you slice a zucchini in half, you shred it into like noodles, make zucchini noodles, right? And it's just the zucchini. Top it with shrimp Alfredo.
Thank
I
you
am
for
telling-
tuning into A Bite with Crazy.
Oh, dude,
Yes.
I could eat. Dude, if I covered my hand in ketchup right now, I would eat it. I fucking hate ketchup. I think the ketchup came from Satan. I hate it. I can't stand it. I would eat my hand right now. But dude, zucchini and squash. If you do a zucchini squash, if you guys are looking to be like, oh, I don't want all the carbs, dude, zucchini squash noodles, some shrimp Alfredo on top. Oh, it's so good. Season it, fuckers. Don't. Oh, it's too funny. Shut the fuck up. Use some salt and fucking pepper and some garlic. You'll be fine.
Yeah,
And
it'll be fine.
not a pinch like salt. That anyway. I apologize.
And before you do anything with these zucchini and squash noodles, make sure you break them to make all the Italian ancestors cry.
At least 3 or 4
I
times.
love
before you
making
throw them in
people
the
cry.
pan.
What?
You got to break them more than once.
Yeah.
And each time you break it, you hear
Yeah.
collectively,
No.
ah!
No, you don't. No,
It's louder.
no. You can literally shred it and at.
Shredding your spaghetti? You have a spaghetti shredder? You're a man.
No.
He's talking
Never.
about
You're talking about your gourds. I know. I know. Here's the thing. with
I'll
shrimp,
be right
Royce is
back.
really, really loving his gourds right now. And he's been craving nuts.
No,
but you
we're
know
not
how
gonna.
this
No,
world's going.
no, we're not phrasing it like that. You fuck.
Too late.
Damn it.
It's really hard to source shrimp. You know, a lot of times they're going in-
Have you guys been to frostcomics.com yet?
He's on a drink with canceled at the moment.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If this show gets in, you guys should really check out this website. It's going to take you to a lot of interesting places. You have no idea. Interesting places that are much more interesting than the place that we're in right now that makes me feel highly uncomfortable. I was talking about food, and then these motherfuckers started talking not about food. Anyway, seriously, it's awesome. Have you guys also seen the absolutely epically fantastic fucking trailer that we've seen
Yeah, we should
multiple
watch
times?
that thing.
We
Yeah,
should.
we should do that thing. And then after we watch the trailer, we're going to let Frost Comics take it away. And then I'm going to run upstairs and go to the bathroom, but we're going to watch the trailer.
And have some nuts.
Mission control to Vic. Vic, are you ready, man?
Yeah.
Tell me you can trust me.
Don't forget our intel. Something about her is not normal.
You can trust me. You love me. You want to make me happy.
I know your hands are filthy. And I know about your tricks. The only thing I don't know is what you are.
You die for me.
But I'll figure that out
Don't disappoint me.
once I haul you out of here.
Who did you lose to make you this angry?
Not human. What are you?
I'm so much more.
So, just so everyone is aware and all the men in the audience are aware, this is not an I can fix her moment.
But
No.
Aw.
And here's the bullshit part. I say that as a guy that actually did that. Okay, that's not a thing for most people, unless you're me. But anyway, I digress. I'll be right. Hey, Frost, you should talk about your comic. I'll be right back.
Hey, so no, you cannot fix her.
Aw.
Full stop. Because she doesn't need you to. Because she is very I'm not saying that my comic is very shades of gray, it really is, but she is very much on the black side of black and white. She's not a good person. She bridges the this is a free comic, by the way. Have I mentioned that it's free? You should get it because it's free and it's good. You can get some stuff that's free and it sucks, and it's like, well, okay, I guess it was, but at least it was free. This is good and it's free, so it's win-win. So frostcomics.com, QR code of the trailer, go there, you sign up, get the free comic, you read it, you love it, presumably. Saskia is the villain of this book, but she's also the bridge between what I want to do here, this book, and what I hope to make into a crowdfunding campaign next year for a bigger book that introduces more of the world, expands on it, and shows you just how incredibly awful Saskia is as a person. She's a great character, I feel in my heart, but not a great person as a character. Like, I think that you'll love to hate her, and that's kind of the idea. I don't think that you're gonna, well, I mean, I don't know. I think she'll probably get some simps just because that's how the internet is. And don't get me wrong, if you're gonna buy the books and you're a Saskia simp, hey, I'm okay with that. That's you go right ahead.
Somebody's inevitably gonna want her to step on him.
Absolutely true. But you have to understand the reason you can't fix this wonderful vision of femininity is because she can control you. She can make you do whatever she wants to do. And I don't just mean like tee-hee, she flirts a little bit. I mean, you don't have a choice, motherfucker. Like, you will do it. Like, it's like Kilgrave from Jessica Jones. She says it, and you're going to absolutely do it with absolutely no reservation, up to and including self-deletion, we'll just say. Oh. So she's someone you don't want to mess with. She's very, very, very cruel and very mean. But she's great as far as villains go. And she's also able to kind of take the fight to you a little bit. I don't want to give anything away because, again, I want you to sign up and get the comic. Yeah. But she's not as dainty as she might appear wearing a dress and all dressed up. So, but yes, this is my comic book. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Thank you for showing off the trailer, which was made by Animane, by the way. Shout out to Animane once again. And I did promise to shout out to another one of my friends, Andrew Rowland. I think he's actually been on here too, XP Comics. He's cool. He's actually been a great person to talk to, just bouncing ideas off of, because he's an artist and I'm not. So talking to him about comics and everything is always interesting. But yeah, so that's the introduction to my world. And the idea behind it is that I wanted to do something to show everybody what I could do as a writer, to show what my team could do as an art team. I wanted you to see what we could do before I ask anyone to spend any money. And that's the whole idea. I wanted to invest in myself to the extent that I could. Comics are really expensive when you can't draw. And so
I know,
you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, hey, what's up, Snow? So what I wanted to do was take and produce a comic that I could give out to people and try to give them a taste of what I could do and kind of get them to buy in, kind of build up a readership before I go in and start asking for money with a handout. Now, I have so many, there we go. She's evil. Joke's on you. I'm into that. Well, then, my friend, You need to back next year. I'm just saying. So this was like the craziest way that I got to this book, though. So the raw idea for this started like 15 years ago. 15 years ago, things were like way different as far as like indie comics landscape. They changed a lot, and like crowdfunding especially has opened up like a whole new avenue for people who would normally have no entry. You know, you can't draw, because if you can draw, like you can put together a portfolio, you can hand it to somebody, and then you're either good enough or you're not. You know, they'll hire you.
Right.
But if you're a writer, you kind of need to know somebody and know somebody and know somebody, and then that gets you kind of an industry in, and then you can kind of go from there. Or you can start like the tiniest, but you still even kind of need to know somebody, right? That completely changed as you know, the last, like I said, 15 years ago. A decade later, that changed a lot, and it's just been getting easier and easier as far as entry points for people like me to start into this. So I had taken this idea that I had, you know, more than a decade ago, and I'd put it on ice because and I'm not saying that is a good thing. I'm just saying I did. Like, I kind of gave up on it because I thought, okay, it's a nice idea, but like, you know, it's time for like, you know, grown-up career, time for a job, time to pay the bills. I got to do all that stuff, right? So I probably don't have really a way to make this happen, and I kind of gave up on it. But then, like I said earlier in the show, when we're talking about how I lost interest in Star Trek, I was looking for replacements for Star Trek. I was looking for replacements for, you know, superheroes as I became disillusioned with Marvel and disillusioned with DC. You know, instead of just complaining about it endlessly and still buying it, I was looking for alternatives. So, Missy, I don't know about that. She's not evil. She's misunderstood. Read the book and find out. So anyway, I was looking for alternatives on Twitter, and I came across somebody who's doing like a call for writers, and he said, I want people to write my comic books for me. And I was like, oh, I'll do it. Let me try, you know. And he liked the comic, but God bless him, he bit off more than he could chew. And so he had like this big grand, like he had like his whole like universe was mapped out in his head. And I was like, have you published a book yet? No. So he was like, he had this grand plan, but like he didn't have a way to get from A to the Z that he envisioned. And but the problem was, right, I had already like gotten like that itch to write again after writing the script for him, and I didn't want to give up on it. So again, talking to Animane, I'm talking to Animane, and I tell him about this idea that I have, and he's like, oh, I'd read that. You should do that. I was like, well, say no more. Here we go. Let's do it. So I start up on it again, and I changed a lot because, you know, 15 years ago, I was a much different person, right? So you change as a person. I made some changes. I aged up a few different characters, changed things a little bit like that to reflect how my life had changed, and then made it into the story that we have now. And then I spent like the last, you know, year and a half, 2 years doing art production. And then I had a friend of mine read it, and he said, kind of sucks. It's like, oh, yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it? And then like with like the blinders off, I looked through it, and I was like, I realized something too late, but not too late. I realized that the reader doesn't know what I know. Like, I know where I'm going with this thing, but the reader doesn't. I know why this person is important, but the reader doesn't. And so I might think that I'm setting up something, but I'm not paying it off yet. So the reader's just like, what the hell do I do with this information? And recently I talked to John from John's Longbox, and he talked about that with his first draft of Heroic Tales.
Why have we not gotten John's from John's Longbox?
I don't know why you should. He's an awesome guy.
No, we've talked about it, and we still keep not doing it. The amount
I went on his show.
The amount of times that we're like, oh, we should totally reach out to this person and get them on the show, and we don't do it is ridiculous. And
you need me to make a Twitter room for you two to like make it happen.
No, please, for the love of God, no. I'm in a lot of fucking. It's ridiculous.
I promise to only talk about shit you don't care about after I start it.
I approve.
I'm gonna invite you to this motherfucker and then just talk about you. God, that's I laugh because it's happened.
I know, bro. It hurts. I laugh because of the pain. I have to hide the pain.
We're gonna invite you to this group. By the way, we're gonna talk about nothing that you care about.
Hey, it's a networking group. Bullshit. This is a group for you to tell people what you think about this, and then they tell you that you're right. You shut up about that. That's what that is.
The worst ones. I feel so bad because
I
I've
like
been
the
invited
networking
to
groups that are
groups,
just
and I
posts.
get in there, and I'm like, okay, and I'm like, fuck it, fine, I'm in the group, and I go in, and it's writers talking about how they can make their prose better, and I'm like, why did you invite me to this? Oh, we just think that your insight would be. I'm not a writer. Like, this is just like, put the book out. Fucking, I'll buy it. I'll read it. Like, I'll tell you what I think. But like, this is not my forte. Like, I have the.
We're talking about gourds.
Just stand in the corner and look pretty.
Okay,
right?
so fuck off. That was one of my favorite things that my wife made. Like, I had changed my diet years ago, and my wife made me this wonderful spaghetti that was out of squash and fucking zucchini noodles, and they did you motherfuckers.
If you boys are talking about Twinkies, I'm game.
Are they still made? I thought Hostess stopped making them.
I don't know.
I don't. My brain.
Nor
just,
do I
sorry.
care.
Sorry. Anyway,
I got a question.
let's
for you
get
about your
back to Frost and what.
Yeah,
Right.
your main character, the ninja cyborg looking dude, was Greg Fox an inspiration for that, or is that coincidence?
Was who an inspiration?
Gray Fox. I can't remember his code name or what his actual name was in the original.
No, Gray Fox. Yeah, you're spot on as far as the name. Partially, he actually has the most inspiration I actually took. This won't seem like it when you look at him, but the most inspiration came from the question, because the faceless aspect of the question.
Nobody fucking goes with the question,
right?
Wow.
Yeah. So I originally, before we tried a lot of different designs. Originally, I wanted to do like even the trench coat, but like it didn't work out because I like the way that that this particular comic book universe.
Dude, I remember the question being in a few episodes of the Justice League Unlimited series.
Really good episodes too.
No, they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, every episode of that series was really good.
Great.
Because they had so many restrictions that they like couldn't do.
I know. Yeah.
But like the question, I think the question, did he end up teaming up with Zatara?
And Huntress.
No, the Huntress.
The Huntress.
They had
I'm sorry.
They had a kind of sort of thing.
Yeah, it was the. I'm sorry. Yeah, not Zatanna. Sorry, it would have been Zatanna. Not the. Yeah, you're right. It was the Huntress. But he was. I loved his fucking character, and that's where I meant. Because again, he was one of those obscure guys that like they just threw into that show, and you're like, this dude's really cool.
Yeah.
And I legitimately only know of him from that show, but when people mention him, I'm like, immediately I go back to being
his
a kid
comics were great because they bridged the gap between like superhero vigilantism and the detective noir stuff.
That's what fucking Batman used to be.
Yeah.
And people still like it. And when Batman ceased to be that, they had to create other characters to do it because they lost the plot. Dude,
What did he say in Justice League Unlimited? Aglets, those things you put your shoestrings through, but their true purpose is so much more sinister. And he doesn't expound on it at all, just lets that go. And then he gets tortured some more. And you're like,
wait,
well, fucking explain yourself.
I know. Dude, it's so good. He was like the ultimate conspiracy theorist, but you would have believed everything he told you. Like as a kid, if I were a kid and he would have been like, so 9/11 wasn't done by the US government, I would have believed him. That's how good the question was. Sorry.
Yeah, no, he was great. So question
so
was a
good.
big inspiration as far as the design because of the facelessness. then I say we, it was me and my concept artist, who's Rosalind Summers, who I love Rosalind Summers. She is actually not taking commissions right now because she is expecting her second child. So congratulations to Roz.
Congratulations to her.
But she is a wonderful, wonderful person to work with, and she's very creative. And she was working with me on the designs for just about every character that is in every comic that I've done. And so we borrowed from Question. Common Rider with the scarf, obviously, was another area where we took some inspiration. A lot of people have told me they've seen Zero from Borderlands.
Yep.
And then obviously the Bat family was a big inspiration too, with like armor, bike, gadgets, things like that. I had one person who, and I don't hold this against them, but they kind of dismissed the comic and they said, "Oh, he's Batman." And I thought, well, I mean, I guess, like, I mean, you can't, like, and then I thought about it, like, you know, if you want to give somebody who's a normal dude a chance to fight against people who aren't normal dudes, then they have to have gear. And if they're going to have gear, you have to have an explanation for the gear. And he's rich is like usually the quickest explanation. I guess I could have made him like a crazy homeless person who steals from people and then orders it on Amazon and gets it delivered to a corner. That's a different story, though.
The only other explanation that I really liked, and it's something like years and years ago before any of this started, and he wouldn't have been necessarily a superhero, but I drew a lot of inspiration from like a lot of like 80s action heroes that I really liked. And the idea was that this dude, and I'll tell you about it after the show, because this is something that I may actually still do in the future because it's just been on my brain. But essentially, the reason he will eventually get the gadgets and stuff is because the government just keeps asking him to do shit because he's the guy that gets shit done.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't like the government. He doesn't like that, but it pays really fucking well. And if he just doesn't die, he gets a decent pay. And it's not like it pays millions and millions of dollars.
Right.
But he might get a new really good engine for his car.
Right.
You know, he might have enough money to live on for the next year. Like that's the only other explanation, because when it comes to like gadgets and working with stuff like that, it's like, okay, who has the money for it? Who can fund it?
Right. Well, if you watch one action movie and you look at someone's kit and you're like, you actually put like a price tag on everything, you're like, oh my God, I can't afford that.
Dude, what's so funny is if you watch like any sort of like military like movies that are like following like SEAL teams and stuff like that, and you look at their setups, if you actually know the dollar amounts for the kit that those guys are wearing, the guns that they're using, the nods and stuff, those guys are wearing $50,000 worth of gear just to go murk a motherfucker.
I know. It's
like
insane.
The cheapest things those guys are carrying are the bullets. And it's wild. I mean, which makes sense because they're going to use a lot more of those than they are anything else. But dude, but again, you just start when you start looking at stuff like that, and it makes sense. Oh, a billionaire wants to fight for his city. Yeah, of course he would have the money to be fucking Batman or Iron Man. Of course. Because like anybody else, it's like, how are you going to do this unless you actually have like supernatural powers? You know?
Exactly.
The only other option is Boondock Saint style.
Right. Well, and it's like the only other superhero that I've really loved that I thought like that wasn't a billionaire, but like I always think of like a kid. So he had powers, he was given powers, but rode around on a trash can for a lid for God knows how long. Static Shock. Virgil,
it was a manhole cover.
No. Originally it was
the early stuff, but then for the rest of the series, it was a manhole cover.
Yes, for the rest of the series, but he originally flew around for the first few episodes on a trash can lid.
Yeah, that's what he was practicing on.
Yeah, but and then he eventually got his disc that he could throw out and fucking run around. But yeah, then there was a manhole cover. But it was so. But again, unless you have like powers, it's like, how do you compete with super beings? And it's like, well, you're rich. Like, how do you compete with gods amongst men? Well, you have money. Oh,
Right,
is that
yeah.
all?
You
Is
just have
that-
enough money, right?
Just
Like, yeah.
have enough
Infinite
money.
supply of money is a superpower all in itself.
Exactly. Yeah. There's intelligence and there's money.
Well, dude, when I saw somebody do a video years ago on the breakdown of like what Wayne Enterprises, like all of their subsidiaries that you controlled.
Yeah.
When you think that you know how much money Bruce Wayne had, and then when you see the breakdown, I wish I could find that. And then you realize how much money Bruce Wayne had. You're like, oh, he wasn't even trying when he built the Justice League's fucking spaceship. That was like pocket change. I mean, this
It's a weekend
man
project.
was wealthy and like hella well. You're like, my God, like, oh, he built 12 Batmobiles, but boy, that was a hard-earned 4 minutes for him. Like, I mean, like I said, I will never forget seeing. I wish I could find it. It was years ago I saw this video, but they were like, yeah, canonically, here's all of the businesses that nuclear power facilities, government contracts, fucking. Like
I had the Hall of Justice constructed.
Yeah.
How do you afford that? I slept for about 4 hours.
Yeah, I slept for about
took a
like
nap.
the guy made more money per minute than Oprah Winfrey makes per hour. And when you start to break and you're just like when you're like, well, how does Bruce Wayne have this much money? And some nerd puts it together, you're just like, wait, he has more money than most countries' GDP. Like, that's how you become Batman, people. Just like when
$10 billion and then
Yeah.
you're set.
like when you like a billions of like Elon Musk levels of money times like 5.
Right.
Like, it's retarded.
Bruce Wayne's in the club that Elon can't afford to go to.
I know, right? And that's just how they made him seem. But yeah, no, I sorry, I had to interject there because
Oh yeah, it's just it's
how
just funny to
does a
think about.
regular
Yeah.
guy keep up with that though?
Right. Where he just takes his money and he pays the criminals to stop being criminals to make money. He's like,
That
guys,
doesn't
just stop
work.
being criminals. What do you want? I can just pay you. You just like stop being evil and we're good here.
Actually,
more fun to
notably,
punch
he
them.
probably could have hired and he
Deep
probably
sea
could have
fishes.
given those guys a salary, like legitimately, to be like bouncers at a club.
Right.
And like except for like truly evil people, and there's really legitimately only one like truly evil person who wasn't motivated by money, and that was the Joker. That was the whole crux of the situation. But yeah, when you just realize like, and I think Stark Tech, they did that same channel did a breakdown on Stark Tech. I didn't watch that video because I was like, it's just ludicrous. But like, to have enough money to fight the gods, like, it's just insane.
It is.
But-
It is. And
Sorry, go on. Go back with
No,
your.
it-
You rattled memories loose in my head. Don't do that. That's dangerous. I'll talk over your. It's just your time. Why are you letting me have time, Frost?
oh, because I'm my gracious host. Of course.
You just
Way to flip the script.
Right. Yeah.
well, I appreciate you letting me have time on your show. Thank you.
So yes. Well. So to return.
What are we returning
the
to?
problem
Please
the problem I ran into before we diverged to a design was that I was trying to do too much in too little of the space, because this comic is 24 pages. It's 22 pages of story, and then it's got a splash page and it's got some acknowledgments and stuff. I can afford that in about a year and a half, 2 years. I can afford that. What I can't afford is I cannot afford a 64-page script in 6 months. That's what I can't afford. So I was trying to do the work of like a 60+ page script in 24 pages, and it just didn't work. And
It happened.
yeah, I look, my friend, God bless him, he said, "Look, I've read worse comics, but
What?
this isn't what." He's like, "Man, you don't want to do this."
Never what you want to hear.
He's like, I've read worst. And that's the compliment. Okay.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
I'm
well,
like,
at
"Hey,
least-
great. I'm not the worst, though, you know." but he's like, "I know what you're trying to do, but like, you have to." You've got 2 stories here. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I do have 2 stories. I'm going to make it 2 stories, and I'm going to take the one here with Ghost of Ashcroft, Vic, whatever you want to call him, our protagonist. And he is, was originally, he was going to be like, and really this is kind of a discredit to him by me. I was really trying to just use him as like an action incentive, like to get people to stick around if they got bored with the other stuff, which is a disservice to the other stuff. And really he needs to have his own full, 20 plus page comic, which is what we have here. And so I took, this is the, I almost want to pat myself on the back for being like, I was retarded, but like, I was like intelligently retarded. So after making a huge fuck up.
No, hold on.
Okay.
That's a valuable thing.
It is.
But
it is.
Anybody who has ever done a thing,
being stupid smart is great.
Dude, being stupid smart is great, because like you do a thing and you're like, this shouldn't have worked.
Right.
But it worked way better than it did when I made that. Usually it comes from being irritated. Were you irritated when you were retarded smart? Were you?
Oh, I mean, I was irritated just because I was like, man, I need this to be this. And here's the thing, I committed to the art, right? The art was already being colored. And then I was like, I fucked it up and I've already paid for all this fuck up. So, so yes, I was very irritated. And so, hey, what's up, BA? Hey man, what's up? So, so I was so annoyed that it was fucked up. But then I thought, okay, but it's not though. I can make a perfectly clean cut right here. And I can just take this and I can take this and I can just grow it out to 2 full stories. And I got to use all the art and I got to make it just perfect. All I did was change a few details, change the time of day a couple places. Boom, perfect. So now we have 2 good, I dare say, solid stories that actually are cohesive and they're well paced and it makes sense. And I didn't waste a lot of money. So it was great. It was wonderful. So yeah.
That's important because you figured out how to take something broken and through that adversity turn it into not just one unbroken thing, but 2 unbroken things and make it work.
Mm-hmm.
And it was the adversity of that pushed you to do that.
Yes.
So the next question is, 1, was it hard to come to that realization? And 2, once you came to that realization, was it hard for you to follow through?
Yes, it was hard. It was hard to come to the realization because I had to have external source help me get there.
Right.
Because this is the importance of editing. Okay. I had at this point I have I would say 3 editors. I had like right. Yeah. I'd had one editor that was mostly copy editing. And this wasn't, it was 100% not out of arrogance on my part. I was not trying to eschew an editor, but I thought that the editor that I had, the editing that I had was sufficient. And I didn't realize that it wasn't until after the fact. So then when I had my friend come in as kind of an unofficial editor, that's when, like, because when you work on something, you're involved in it in a way that you cannot objectively evaluate it. And so when you have someone who can objectively evaluate it, it was really hard. And I read through his notes and it was like, again, shout out to Animane. I was talking to Animane. I'm like, oh, this is really uncomfortable, man. He's like, yeah, leave your hand on the stove, man. It's like, you need this for you guys. I was like, all right, you're right. Shit, this is all correct. Yeah. So that was difficult, but I have never, ever, ever ever wanted to put my pride ahead of the quality of work I want to produce. So even though it hurt my pride and my ego to say this currently sucks, when I said that, I was like, okay, I am willing to do whatever it takes, full stop, whatever it takes. I'm willing to do it to make it the best possible. Because this is my introduction. No one has ever read anything I've written before this comic book right now. I only get to make one first time comic book introduction, right? It has to not suck. It has to at least be okay. It has to be as good as I can make it. I have to be proud of it, right?
Well,
so I've never wanted to put my pride ahead of that.
At least the benefit of you being an indie, the bar is a lot lower because it is your first book.
Mm-hmm.
People will give you they'll only give you so much. Because I've read some people's first books, and I'm just like, I'm not going back for the second one. We're not going to talk about it. I don't even talk about that I've read those books. Like, we're just not going to do it. And so for you, you're just like, no, you're like, I have to make this thing at least good enough for an independent creator, because there's a lot of people out there, they're not even shooting for indie quality. And that's the bad part.
It's true. That's true.
Like, there is a quality that that independent creations like require, and there are people out there that are not achieving that bar, and thank God you are not one of them. Thank God you actually said, no, I need to hit a quality level.
Yeah, well, because I think about it, I'm very customer first in my thought process, because I've been a customer for my entire life, and I've only recently, started treading out into I'm a writer, here's my product, right? So like, if I'm going to ask somebody to give me their money, to trust me with their money, I have to, like, I will not let myself be at below a level that I would be at least comfortable buying it myself. Like, if I can't look at it and say, yeah, I'm proud of this, then I cannot. I would be so uncomfortable asking someone to pay me to make it, and that's 100% where I was, and I'm really, really glad that he's gave me the loving slap to the face that I needed to let me make the decision that I made. Right. And you know what? This is the thing too, to his credit, not mine. But like, because of that, I wrote what?
Daniel, this is a great shirt idea. You have a face here. You have a face here. Right? The hand is coming from here. Put letters editor, writer, and then the hand just hard slap to the writer, and it just says love slap.
Like a single frame from the slow-mo impact.
Yeah, just a single, and it's just like the writer just getting slapped from the end, and it just
the ripple
over the
of
hand
that
it
needs
says
to be a
love
shirt
slap.
for real. Yes.
Yep.
Love slap. That's
legit. That's a good idea.
I can put that
great
together.
idea.
Yeah,
That's what it feels like too.
Dude. So I don't have an editor, but I do have a comments section. And some people are just jackasses. Some people are earnest in what they say. Some people are jackasses while still providing valuable feedback.
Yeah.
And it's knowing which ones are which gets tough sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But when you get it and somebody's like, you need to do this thing. This is the thing that the best do. And if you want to be the best, you have to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, you're not being a dick. You might have opened up. Maybe you opened up with being an asshole in the first sentence, because some people do that. But then they finish it out with, you're like, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's important on the creator too to be open to that and to say, okay, you are right, because I think it's easy for ego to get in the way and be like, they're dead wrong about this, or they don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah,
this.
you want to, like, your first gut instinct is that you want to justify it. You want to say, no, you don't understand.
Yep.
How long did you sit on that?
When I got the feedback, I sat on it for a couple days. I shared it with Animane because he's again kind of my right hand man as far as like my comic
Such a
book
good
and
dude. I
YouTube
love the
journey.
fuck out of him.
And I like to, because he's like, he's a friend, but he's also comfortable holding me accountable, and like he'll give me good advice.
Dude. He
Yeah.
is. I love him to death because Animane has no chill, and I love that about him. Like,
You would.
he will tell you what is on his mind. And I've only spoken with him a few times, a couple times on John A. Douglas's channel. He's been over here, like once or twice. Daniel, do you remember once?
At least once.
Yeah, and the once that he was here, he and I just drown out the co-host. Like it's bad. Like he and I in a room. He is.
I sat back and drank.
Dude, but Animane is that guy. He knows no chill. He's not gonna know a chill, and he's gonna tell you exactly what's on his mind. And he is so fucking good for that, and I love him for it. It's fucking
word.
He is a rare individual that can actually tell you what's on his mind, while also, like, if he wants to be a dick about it, he can. But if he doesn't want to be, he's not gonna be. And
he has actual tact.
He does, and not a lot of people have that.
They don't, apparently. Yeah.
Daniel, we're not talking about that.
Some people.
We're not supposed to talk about that on the show. I told you.
Yeah.
He's like, I have no tact. What the fuck? That's right.
No. Yeah, I ran it by him because I was like, I feel like he's got a point on almost all of these, and in here where I would say, because whenever I get negative feedback, this is really important to me. I never ever argue with the people who give it to me, because I don't want them to think that I don't value it or that I disagree with it. I want them to understand that I appreciate it. So like, I don't want to immediately justify or come defensive or whatever. I just say, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you for reading it. Then I take it and internalize it, talk to other people about it, and see what they think. Because
have you ever had to ask anybody to like explain further? Do you ever ask anybody to like explain further?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Sorry, you were just saying like you don't argue, you just kind of
I want to understand it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm sorry. Go on. I was confused there for a second. I was like, wow, really? Like he's not gonna. Oh, okay. Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now there are some people. I mean, like there's obviously there are people I think that they're wrong in their feedback. I have gotten people who I had one person who gave me a take on it, and no disrespect to the person at all, but like they got a character's name wrong multiple times. And then I was like, okay, I don't feel like you read this, because if you did read it, then you wouldn't have gotten this person's name wrong 3 times. Like, I don't think that that's a thing that you could have done. So like that, I don't hold in as high regard as some of the negative feedback where they did get details correct. So
I'm terrible with names. So I will always start my feedback with, I absolutely suck at remembering names. I used to be really good at it, and then I worked with like 300 people that I had all of names I had to remember.
Right.
But I will always start off with, I can't remember names, so I am going to refer, and I will come up just with like characteristics.
Right.
And be like, this person did this person did that, the chick with the black hair and the brown skin, the dude with the blonde hair and the annoying attitude. You'll know who I'm talking about, right? Like people will understand. But I'm like, because I can't remember their names, so I'm just going to tell you what my memory of these characters is,
right?
Which would kind of color like my feedback to them.
Yeah.
And there's a tactful way to go about it. It's be like, look, I'm not trying to dog on you, but at the same time, like,
I mentioned this on Twitter, but like one of the coolest criticisms I got was someone who actually had experience in martial arts fighting was like breaking down the action panels, and he was talking about like 2 panels in particular. He's like, I wouldn't have done this and he should have done this instead. And I was like, this is amazing. I was like, this is like some of the coolest feedback I've ever gotten. You should do more stuff like this, breaking down action in comics, because that's amazingly insightful.
That would be an instant like million subscriber YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like
really cool.
How like, hey, I'm breaking down Batman's fights and why they're wrong.
Right.
You're like, hey, it's just Batman just throwing a punch. You'd be like, is that actually good? And he's like, so I was reading a Batman comic the other day, and I noticed he did this. Let's break down this whole fight scene, and I'm going to tell you as a, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, black belt, why this doesn't work. And
there are a bunch of channels that already do that. Yeah,
dude. Yeah. And most of them have hundreds of thousands of because their knowledge, it's that educational portion that we were talking about already. And it's still positive. And they're like, dude, I love Batman, but I'm going to tell you right now. And it usually, like, if it's a smart ass guy, he end the video be like, I love Batman, but I'm going to tell you right now, I beat his ass. You get those guys like that.
Yeah, of course.
But
that's what I told him. I was like, you need to do this with more stuff, because this is awesome. Like, this is some of the coolest criticism I've ever gotten, because like I want to, like, that helps me as someone who has not been a vigilante doing martial arts on the street. Like, this only helps me because in the future I can like choreograph the fight better. So like that kind of stuff is amazing. And stuff like that where I absolutely will, like, I will, yeah, okay, so what in this instance, what would they do here? He actually he was nice. His name's RJ William, by the way. He's got a comic coming out. He's awesome dude.
Familiar.
But RJ, he was talking about, like, there's a part where there's an elbow strike, and he said in this instance you should have just done like a running punch. That's awesome. Next time it's gonna be a running punch. So like that helps me with the story. So instances like that are amazing. And I don't know what we were talking about before we got started on like criticism and everything, but
that's my fault. I apologize.
But yeah, the way that I was able to take that and internalize it and then use it, yeah, it was extremely helpful, because it made, like you said, it made 2 stories. It made both better too. The story that I have now with Ghost, Vic, I always call him Vic in my head because it's his name. The title, I don't know, weird trivia. The title Ghost of Ashcroft, he doesn't actually have like a superhero name, because I thought he's the kind of person who wouldn't call himself anything, but like the press would call him something. And so the press calls him the Ghost of Ashcroft because the city is named Ashcroft, and he just kind of seems to vanish in and out and stuff. So that's where the title comes from. But he wouldn't call himself that. Other people, I guess, like the press would. But the regardless of what anyone has thought about the comic, the first 3 pages have been pretty much universally been praised by everybody who's read it. And like, I'm very proud of those pages, those first 3 pages, because it's all storytelling without any like real dialogue heavy, or there's nothing. It's just art and just storytelling through visual media. And that would have never existed without my friend slapping me across the face and helping me to make 2 different books. So I wrote something better because of him. And so that's amazing. Like, if you got somebody who will check you like that, and if you can take it and learn from it, I'm grateful for that.
Speaks a lot to you as well. Like,
well, thank you.
It really is easy to be like, hey, my friends let me, I had to set my pride aside. That's a hard thing to do, setting your pride aside. I've had to do it in very hard times of my life, like very serious moments of my life, and in really, really big moments, setting your pride. Like, I learned years ago, and it's part of the reason, the chat can come in here, they can have fun, they can throw jokes and stuff like that. Years ago, I would not have been able to take that well. But setting your pride aside is a virtue in and of itself that a lot of people do not understand. And
It takes a lot of self-awareness.
One of the jokiest ways I can say this, and I'm saying jokiest, I get it.
Yeah.
But dude, the first time that your kid craps on you while you're changing their diaper, like you'll throw your pride out the way. Not like when after about the 10th time you've changed a horrible diaper, you realize, oh, pride ain't much of a thing.
Right.
That's the
true.
funny way. That's the funny way to explain this story. I've been through more serious ways of doing it, but that's the funniest way. But for you, well, let me pass this off to Daniel. Daniel, how many people have you worked with who just don't let their pride go? You're in it. You go in, you edit, you help coach. I mean, I assume it's a decent percentage that well, no, you're wrong. I'm not going to do this.
Nah, well, most of the guys that I work with are have been first timers or early folks in the indie scene. So a lot of them approach it with open minds. When the feedback does occur, there's usually some pushback at first, but the explanation is always predominantly, look, what you did here is based on the assumption that the reader knows what you're thinking about, not what you put on the paper. And then at that moment, that's when, the pride peels back usually, and they go, oh, okay, I got it. Normally, I get a lot of folks that are open-minded enough to say, I didn't even realize that. Thanks. And then we work out the way to address the issue. Every once in a while, I get more pushback from my reviews and critiques than I do from the actual editing jobs. But every once in a while, I'll get somebody who snaps an email right back like 2 hours later and just wants to argue as like it's 2 pages in an email, and they cut it off because they weren't allowed to put any more letters on it. And I usually just look at it first.
When you max out a fucking email, when Yahoo won't let you send more letters, Jesus.
And I'm like, I'll open the email wherever I am, and usually I'm doing something else at that point. So it's just like I open it, look at it, and go, I just close it. Like, I'm not going to argue with you because I know it's coming from a
I do that too sometimes where I'll open an email, I'll look at it and be like, I'm not reading this now.
Right.
What can I back to this?
I've adopted over the years an attitude. I'm not going to argue with you. If you want to take what I say out of context or be butthurt about it, that's your problem. It's not mine.
Here's my problem is being a YouTuber and like reading your comments section. Like, I am the opposite. I am asking for people to comment.
Yeah.
And then I go in and I have to read the unhinged shit that people are saying and try to evaluate whether or not. Generally, I have found somebody who wants to make a point can make it in about 3 sentences. I shit you not. If somebody knows what the fuck they're talking about, they can legitimately do it in 3 to 5 sentences, done, flat. They've owned me. They know that hey, I proved you wrong. And it's like, wow, really good point. You nailed it. The people who come in with just word salad, it's just like, dude, Socrates didn't write that much. Like,
if you have to explain, you've already lost.
Oh, dude, it's
like explaining the joke.
Mm-hmm.
If you explain the joke, it's not funny. It's like that.
But
exactly.
Okay, so first of all, fuck off. Because that's I don't know why. I don't know when this started in my life, but I love that shit so much. I love explaining the joke, and they're like, Royce, you're ruining the joke. But in my head, I'm like,
That's just
it's-
Schadenfreude.
It's the funniest shit on the planet. And they're like, why are you making the joke worse? I'm like, because it's so funny to watch. It's so.
Because for you, it's better.
Yeah. And it's all about me, baby. Anyway, Frost Comics, where can we find you? What do you do, good sir?
Well, you can find me on YouTube. It is youtube.com/@frost_comics. That's also my handle on X/Twitter. And you can go to frostcomics.com and find everything that you need to find that is me, including this free comic book, which I would love for you to read. I poured my heart and soul and money into it. So if you'll give it a read, you don't have to pay $1. And I think you'll really enjoy it and have a great time. And I hope you'll stick around and come back next year and read more.
Fantastic, man. Thanks for being here. Evely Music, what do you do? Where can we find you?
Well, I am Justin, but I make rock and heavy metal music under the name Evely. You can find all my music on all the streaming platforms that you frequent, whether it be Apple Music, Spotify, Bandcamp, everything in between. Got several albums up there, including my newest release, Lift. It looks like this. It's a picture of it. Looks like that. And it's 19 tracks of music that I've made for other creators for various projects. So pretty cool release. Pretty happy with that. And that's out there. You can give that a spin. And of course, there's always more music on the way. Additionally, I also co-host the Iron Seas podcast Tuesday nights with Mr. Bad Sauce, the Ultimate Kahuna, and AC Pritchard. We watch and discuss films. We talk about storytelling and writing. We have other indie guests on to hang out with us and talk about their projects as well. And it's a little bit chaotic and fun, but a pretty good time overall. And it's every Tuesday night at 9:30. So with that, I'll go ahead and pass it off to Mr. Daniel P. Riley.
Yep, that's me. I'm Daniel P. Riley, and I'm
I
tired.
hope it's you.
I also am the sole proprietor of Whimsyland Literary Coaching and Services, which currently doesn't have a website, but we'll be back in 2025 with a much better website. I am. On top of that, I've also been working on a secondary site called the Iron Sage, which will hopefully be a place that we can cultivate into a repository of all things indie entertainment.
Cool.
That's my ultimate desire, but we'll see how it goes. It's probably going to take me at least a year, if not more, to make
Repository
that a
means
thing.
Broke Man's Library. That's what he's talking about.
Oh,
You
yes.
got indie shit you posted on his website. Is where
Yes. Everybody can
I
put
need
their
to
things up on
translate
this
for the
website.
rednecks. I need
No,
to
you
translate.
don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't.
Rednecks don't know these things.
Yeah, and
I had to guess.
Stanley
what
once said when
repository
asked
meant,
why
and I was right.
there were big words in Marvel comic books during his time, he once said very directly, if a kid has to open a dictionary, that's a good thing.
Actually, and I agree, because my kids, I'm raising them the way that I was raised. Dad, what's that mean? Go get the dictionary.
Yep.
And my wife and I actually want, probably this year for Christmas, kids are all getting dictionaries.
And before Royce goes off on another tangent real quick, check out cheeseandibooks.com. That's where my incredible action adventure series lives.
I hate you all. Big bag of dicks. All of you are just a big bag of dicks.
Good night, everybody.
You're the one that was craving nuts. I don't want to hear it.
What the fuck are you talking about? Peanut butter and jelly, good sir.
What's peanut butter made of, Royce?
It's made of peanuts.
Exactly.
Well, technically not. If you actually look at the ingredients on it,
it's made of nut
not.
butter.
It's probably not. Fuck you, motherfucker. God damn it. I hate that you say it like that. That's not. No.
What can I say except you're welcome?
I'm gonna kick you in the schnutz.
You're gonna have to wait a year until the next barbecue to pull that off.
I don't know if we're gonna be able to do the barbecue, man. Money is really tight.
We'll make it happen.
Might have to have somebody else host it. Of course, I'll have to haul a smoker to someone's house. That's gonna suck. I'm so hungry.
Go eat that bag of dicks then.
Okay, fuck you.
Dipped in ketchup.
You just no, God, everything that I hate in life. Ladies and gentlemen, say goodnight to these horrible bastards. I'm so sorry that I graced you with their presence.
night,
But as
horrible
always,
bastard.
until next time. Cheers, everybody.
Night, chat.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Oh, you bunch of ugly bastards.